Tonight, you're going to dream. You probably won't remember it, but somewhere between the moment you close your eyes and the moment the alarm pulls you back, your brain will do something it has been doing for at least 300,000 years. Something your earliest ancestors did in smoky caves, on riverbanks, under open skies, thick with stars. And what happened inside their sleeping minds was almost nothing like what you'd expect. Here's the strange part. You assume dreaming is universal. You assume your dreams and their dreams were probably the same kind of thing. Falling, flying, forgetting to study for an exam. But that assumption rests on something you've never stopped to question. The idea that the sleeping brain has always worked the same way the waking brain does. It hasn't. And the deeper scientists dig into the neuroscience of sleep, the history of consciousness, and the dreams of isolated cultures today, the stranger the picture becomes. Our brain, right now, is a modern machine running ancient software. To understand what ancient humans actually dreamed about, you first need to understand what sleep was for them. Sleep researcher Jerome Siegel at UCLA spent years studying the Hadza of Tanzania, the San people of southern Africa, and the Tsimané of Bolivia, some of the last forager communities on Earth. People whose lives most closely resemble the conditions your ancestors evolved in. What he found upended almost everything we thought we knew about human sleep. These communities don't sleep 8 hours. They average 6.5 to 7. They don't go to bed when it gets dark and rise with the sun. They stay awake for hours after sunset, gathered around fire, talking, telling stories, watching the darkness, and then they sleep. That detail matters more than it sounds. Fire changes everything. Before your ancestors had fire, the night was lethal. Predators moved in darkness. The sleeping body was vulnerable. But once fire became a constant companion, something shifted. The night became a shared space, a social space, a place where the group gathered close, and the boundary between waking and sleeping became much more porous than it is for you today. Anthropologist David Sampson at the University of Toronto calls this the sleep sentinel hypothesis. In a group sleeping together around a fire, individuals naturally fall asleep and wake at different times. This created a kind of unconscious watch system. Someone was always close to waking. And that biological rhythm, that staggered, communal, firelit sleep, shaped the architecture of the dreaming brain. So what was that brain dreaming about? It wasn't flying over cities. It wasn't showing up to a meeting naked. It wasn't chasing a bus it missed. Those are your dreams. Dreams built from your anxieties, your environments, your daily texture. The dreaming brain, as neuroscientist Antti Revonsuo at the University of Turku has argued, is a threat simulation system. It evolved not to entertain you, but to rehearse you. His threat simulation theory proposes that the primary function of dreaming is to simulate threatening events and practice responses to them. And if that's true, if your dreams are shaped by the threats your waking life presents, then ancient human dreams were built from an entirely different world. Think about what filled a waking life in the upper Paleolithic. Movement, the sound of animals, the smell of rain before it arrived, the specific quality of light through trees that told you something was watching. Reading the land, reading other people. Your social world was small, perhaps 30 to 50 individuals, and every one of them mattered intensely. Whether they were loyal, whether they were dangerous, whether the group was stable. These were survival questions, so the dreaming brain rehearsed them, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. Ancient humans likely dreamed in concrete, sensory, immediate ways, not in the abstracted, narrative, symbolic style that you often experience. Kelly Bulkley, a sleep and dream researcher at the Graduate Theological Union, has tracked dream content across cultures and across historical eras, finding a consistent pattern. The less complex and mediated a person's daily environment, the more literal and direct their dream content tends to be. Predators, conflict, food, water, people they know, landscapes they navigate. The brain, during REM sleep, is recombining the sensory memories of recent waking experience. For your ancestors, those memories were vivid, physical, and high stakes. You dream about sending the wrong email. They dreamed about the lion they heard last night. But here is where it gets stranger still. Those dreams weren't private. They weren't tucked away in a journal. They weren't kept to yourself over morning coffee. For most of human history, dreams were shared, out loud, around the fire, in the darkness before sleep, or just after waking. They were social objects, information, data about the world. In nearly every forager culture that anthropologists have studied, dreams are treated as real events that happened to the dreaming person. Encounters with animals, ancestors, spirits, other versions of the world. The Akhua people of the Amazon wake before dawn, specifically to share their dreams with their partners, and those dreams directly influence the day's decisions. Where to hunt, whether to travel, whether to trust someone. Your brain treats your dreams as noise to be filtered out. Theirs treated them as signal. This is not superstition, or rather, it is not only superstition. There is a logic buried inside it. If your dreaming brain is a threat simulation system, then the output of that system is potentially useful. You dreamed about a river flooding. You dreamed about a member of your group behaving strangely. You dreamed about the animal trail going cold. These could be your unconscious mind processing weak signals it picked up during the day and integrating them into a warning. The ancient habit of treating dreams as real was, in some sense, a way of listening to your own pattern recognition system. Modern neuroscience has something to say about this. Matthew Walker, director of the Center for Human Sleep Science at UC Berkeley, describes REM sleep as a form of overnight therapy, a state in which the brain reprocesses emotional memories and strips away their emotional charge, allowing you to remember events without reliving their pain. But it does something else too. It searches for connections between new information and old. It finds patterns across experiences that the waking mind, distracted and linear, might miss. Your dreaming brain is not confused. It is processing at a level your waking mind cannot reach. And your ancestors, without knowing any of this, built entire cultures around respecting that process. What did they dream about? They dreamed about the things that mattered most. Chase, escape, belonging, betrayal, finding food, losing someone, being seen by something in the dark that should not be there. They dreamed about the land they moved across, its animals, its weather, its moods. They dreamed about the dead because the dead were recently alive, and the brain does not easily release what it has spent years mapping. And they shared those dreams and took them seriously and wove them into the decisions that kept them alive. You still do all of this. You just don't know it. Your brain still runs the same ancient software every night. The threat simulations still fire. The emotional reprocessing still happens. The pattern detection engine still runs in the dark. Your dreams are still shaped by the things your waking brain is most alert to. Your conflicts, your attachments, your fears, the social world you navigate. You've just stopped listening. You wake up, reach for your phone, and let the dream evaporate before it has a chance to speak. Tonight, when you close your eyes, somewhere beneath the commute and the inbox and the noise of your modern life, a 300,000-year-old brain is going to run its oldest program. It's going to simulate and rehearse and process and search for patterns in the dark. It's going to dream about the things that matter most to you in the ancient language of images and sensation that it has always spoken. The only question is whether you'll be listening when you wake up.